Hello, and welcome to Tales for Life. In each episode of this podcast, we'll explore a folk or fairy tale from a different culture or region and discover the life lessons, values, and morals they offer that we can use today. Join me on the journey through the magical and meaningful world of folk and fairy tales. Welcome, story lovers, to another episode of Tales for Life, the podcast that journeys through life one tale at a time. I'm so glad you're here with me today. We have a wonderful, timeless tale from India with a universal message ahead of us in an episode titled, Let Go of the Old to Become the New. Think about the parts of your life where you feel the most fulfilled. Chances are, those are the areas where you've allowed yourself room to grow. Life, at its best, is a continuous process of evolution. Whether we're trying to master a new skill, be a better partner, or finally transition into a career that actually feeds our soul, we are constantly working toward the next version of ourselves. We aren't aiming for some unattainable standard of perfection here. It's just about being a little bit better today than we were yesterday. It's like learning to cook. You start by just trying not to burn the toast, but eventually you want to create something you're actually proud to share. Growth is simply the natural rhythm of moving forward. But here's the catch. Moving forward almost always requires a trade-off. Think about a caterpillar. It can't cling to being a caterpillar forever and still expect to fly. To become a butterfly, it has to completely let go of the form that got it this far. The same thing happens to us. The mindset, habits, or routines that successfully got you to point A aren't always the ones that will get you to point B. Letting go of that old version of yourself is incredibly hard because that version looked after you. It got you out of a rut, it helped you survive, or it got you to a comfortable baseline. But comfort isn't the same as progress, and we have to be willing to change who we are on the outside to match where we want to go on the inside. And that brings us directly to today's story, a beautiful parable gathered from the rich storytelling traditions of India. It's a narrative about a traveler who hits a literal wall and must face a profound choice. Stay exactly as they are and risk stagnating forever, or trust a completely unfamiliar process to reach the other side. It perfectly captures that terrifying, beautiful moment where we have to choose between the safety of the past and the potential of the future. Let's settle in and listen to The Tale of the Sands. A stream from its source in far-off mountains, passing through every kind and description of countryside, at last reached the sands of the desert. Just as it had crossed every other barrier, the stream tried to cross this one, but it found that as fast as it ran into the sand, its waters disappeared. It was convinced, however, that its destiny was to cross this desert, and yet there was no way. Now, a hidden voice coming from the desert itself whispered, "The wind crosses the desert, and so can the stream." The stream objected that it was dashing itself against the sand and only getting absorbed, that the wind could fly, and this was why it could cross a desert. By hurtling in your own accustomed way, you cannot get across. You will either disappear or become a marsh. You must allow the wind to carry you over to your destination. But how could this happen? By allowing yourself to be absorbed in the wind. This idea was not acceptable to the stream. After all, it had never been absorbed before. It did not want to lose its individuality, and once having lost it, how was one to know that it could ever be regained? "The wind," said the sand, "performs this function. It takes up water, carries it over the desert, and then lets it fall again. Falling as rain, the water again becomes a river." How can I know that this is true? It is so, and if you do not believe it, you cannot become more than a quagmire, and even that could take many, many years, and it certainly is not the same as a stream. But can I not remain the same stream that I am today? You cannot in either case remain so, the whisper said. Your essential part is carried away and forms the stream again. You are called what you are even today because you do not know which part of you is the essential one. When he heard this, certain echoes began to arise in the thoughts of the stream. Dimly, he remembered a state in which he, or some part of him was it, had been held in the arms of a wind. He also remembered, or did he, that this was the real thing, not necessarily the obvious thing, to do. And the stream raised his vapor into the welcoming arms of the wind, which gently and easily bore it upwards and along, letting it fall softly as soon as they reached the roof of a mountain many, many miles away. And because he had had his doubts, the stream was able to remember and record more strongly in his mind the details of the experience. He reflected, yes, now I have learned my true identity. The stream was learning. But the sands whispered, we know, because we see it happen day after day, and because we, the sands, extend from the riverside all the way to the mountain. And that is why it is said that the way in which the stream of life is to continue on its journey is written in the sands. That brings us to the end of this brief, beautiful fable. And like the best of them, its simplicity holds a mirror up to our own lives. Let's take a moment to look at this story in people terms and see what it means for our own journeys. It's probably pretty obvious that the stream represents us. Across so many different cultures, life is compared to a river or a stream, and it's a perfect metaphor. We've all traveled a long way to get to this exact moment. We've navigated around obstacles, celebrated the victories where the current felt fast and easy, and pushed through the rocky parts. But our story isn't over yet. We're still moving, still flowing. Whether your goals for tomorrow are massive life changes or just small personal daily improvements, you still have them, and that means you are still moving forward. But sooner or later, every single one of us runs into our own desert. It's that sudden challenge, that massive transition, or that stubborn obstacle that seems to halt our progress entirely. And this is exactly where we tend to get stuck. It's not because we lack the talent to overcome it. It's because we can't cross a desert using the exact same methods that got us through the mountains. If you remember back to episode 29, we talked about how progress almost always requires outside perspective. Just like the stream, we often need a guide, a mentor, or a trusted friend to give us a hint, to offer that piece of advice that opens our eyes to a completely new way of moving forward. And while we don't abandon the valuable lessons of our past, we have to accept that we can't carry everything with us. To get to where we want to be, there are pieces of our old selves we simply have to let go of. The habits, defenses, or mindsets that protected us and served us well at point A might actually be the very things holding us back from point B. Moving forward means making room for new actions, new thoughts, and new ways of learning. Growth isn't about erasing your past. It's about trusting your future enough to let yourself evolve. As you head into your week, I encourage you to look at the challenges in front of you, not as dead ends, but as invitations to discover a whole new side of who you are. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to share these stories with me today. I'm glad you're part of this journey with me, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Tales for Life.